I'm a portfolio manager. I've just had a massive week. Everything was up. The everything rally was on. Powell drove it. What do I do this week? Am I more cautious? Am I risk off? I can't trade Friday's big inflation print. What do I do?
Yeah, that's a good question. But, I mean, the market sentiment is pretty firmly set right now, isn't it, Guy? Everything is looking pretty optimistic. There may be some debate among the sort of policymakers over whether the Fed is letting the markets off the hook a little bit. But as far as investors are concerned, everything looks pretty gung-ho at the moment. You know, we see bond market volatility sliding. We see credit spreads tight. We see equity still continuing firm, notwithstanding the slight setback that we saw on Friday. So the sentiment is still very much for this momentum trade, for continuing risk-on kind of vibe across markets. The other thing that people are looking at more is a bond market steepness. So looking at short-term yields to continue pressing lower, particularly after the SMB fired the starting gun on rate cuts for this year. So that's the mindset that markets have, at least going into this week.
Paul, but we've had the Powell head fakes. We've had Powell pivots, and they've turned out to be head fakes. Why do I believe this one? Why do I believe that this one is going to be different and real?
I think that's a very good question. And based on some of the Deutsche Bank analysis, markets have tried this trade several times. I think 7 in total times so far during this cycle already, and been wrong every time. So it's a bit of that stop clock will tell the right time of day eventually kind of a trade. But on the other hand, I think the fact that the S&P is actually going gives people more confidence that this thematic is still there. The fact that Powell has now started to place attention on the job market as well as on the inflation side of things, saying on the Labour side, if there is a sharp deterioration, that would give the Fed another reason to cut. Just gives you an insight into that mindset that the Fed still wants to cut. For the market's point of view, doesn't really matter when so much if the economy is looking good. It's more that theme that eventually we know that the cuts are coming and the market can kind of take comfort from that. So that's still the momentum that we have here.